Hello students, welcome to Anne's classes. Let's do direct and inverse variations. Chapter 10, exercise 10b. This is found on page number 132 and here we have the question 1 here, the multiple choice type. Choose the correct answer from the options given below. If A varies inversely to B and B is equal to 12 when A is equal to 8, find the value of B when A is equal to 6. So here we are talking about inverse variation. Now what is inverse variation? Now when you have two quantities, in this case A and B, they are said to be in inverse variation if an increase in A causes a decrease in B or a decrease in A causes an increase in B. So here we have been told that they vary inversely. So in that case, we have to find the value of B when A is equal to 6. So when A is equal to 8, B is equal to 12. So we are marking it as A1 and B1. And similarly, A2. So this will be A2. When A2 is 6, we have to find the value of B2, which we don't know. We don't know the value of B2. So A varies inversely with B. Now, whenever there is an inverse variation, the product A1, B1 and will be equal to A2, B2 and they will be a constant when they vary inversely. So since it's already given to us A varies inversely with B, we can write A1, B1, A1, B1. That means the product of A1 and B1 will be equal to the product of A2, B2. So let's solve this now. A1 is 8. 8 into B1 is 12. This is equal to A2 and A2 is 6 and B2 we don't know, so we'll leave it as B2. Now we're going to find the value of B2. To find the value of B2, we leave it as it is. And on the other side, we have 8 into 12. We carry 6 to the other side, it becomes division. Now we will cancel. 6 2s are 12 and multiply 8 into 2. 8 into 2 is 16. That means the value of B when A is 6 is equal to 16. So this is our answer. Question 2. 12 men can make a certain number of screws in 30 days. The number of screws of the same type will be made by 24 men in how many days? So we need to find out the number of days taken by 24 men to make the same type of screws which 12 men could do in 30 days. So let's first write down that. Let the number of days needed for 24 men to make the same type of screws be A. This is what we need to find, the number of days. Okay, let's make a table. So in the table, we're going to write number of men first and then number of days. So number of men is 12. So 12 men took how many days? 30 days. Now the number of men has increased. And here we don't know the number of days. It is A. So now let's look at the table. When 12 men were there, 30 days they needed to finish. Now we have increased the number of men. So the number of days will reduce because more men are working. So we don't need 30 days. We need lesser number of days. So in this case, this is called an inverse variation. Here the number of men has increased but the number of days will decrease. So this is a case of inverse variation. So when it is inverse variation, remember the product x1, y1, x1, y1 will be a constant. So x2 and y2 will be equal to each other. So they are constants. So here this is x1, this is x1, this is y1, this is x2 and this is y2. So let's substitute. So x1 is 12 into 30, y1 is equal to x2 is 24 into y2, which is a. Now we can find the value of a. Say a is equal to 12 into 30 divided by 24. Now we can cancel here. I can cancel 12 and 24. 12 2s are 24. I can cancel 2 and 30. 2 into 15 is 30. That means I have found the value of A. A is equal to 15. And what is A? A is the number of days needed for 24 men to make the same type of screws. So the number of days needed for 24 men to make the screws is 15. So 15 days are needed. Can you see it's lesser than the previous one? 12 men took 30 days. So when 24 men were there, they finished in only 15 days. Let's do the same sum in the arrow method. So in the arrow method, we make two columns. One, we have 12 men. So the first column will be number of men. And then we have 30 days. So it will be number of days. Now let's fill in the columns. So we have 12 men. Let me write 12. And we have 30 days. So 30. Again, we have 24 men. We have 24 men and we don't know the number of days. We can write it as X. So here, when the number of men has increased from 12 to 24, the number of days will decrease from 30 to whatever the number of days we're going to find here. It's going to decrease. So this is inverse variation. That means the arrowheads will turn in the opposite directions. So here we have one arrowhead this way and the other arrowhead the other way. Again, you have to look at the number that's closest to the arrowhead. So to make our equation. So here we have 24 by 12 is equal to, now again close to the arrowhead we have 30, 30 by x. Now let's cross multiply these two. Cross multiply and what do we get? We get 24 into x is equal to 30 into 12. So now let's find the value of x. X is equal to 30 into 12 by 24. We can cancel 12 and 24. 12 twos are 24. Cancel 2 and 30. 2 into 15 is 30. So we have found the value of x and x is equal to 15. So what have we found? We have found the number of days, because it comes here, isn't it? The number of days that 24 men will need to complete the same number of screws, the same type of screws. Question 3. A school has 8 periods in a day, each of 45 minutes duration. So when there are 8 periods, the duration of each period is 45 minutes. Assuming the number of school hours to be the same and the school has 9 periods in a day, what is the duration of each period is what we are asked to find. So when it was 8 periods, the duration was 45 minutes per period. Now they are increasing the number of periods with the same number of hours. The hours are the same. So they're increasing the number of periods. So what happens to the duration of each period? The duration will reduce, isn't it? Because one more period has been added. So you can't have 45 minutes for each period. It will reduce. Now we have been asked to find the duration of each period. So let's begin by saying, let the duration of each period when there are 9 periods be A. Then we need to make our table. So first is 8 periods. So first column here is number of periods. 45 minutes, so time in minutes. So let's write 8 periods. When the number of periods is 8, the duration of each period is 45. Now when the number of periods is 9, we know that the duration is going to reduce, isn't it? Because we need to accommodate 9 periods, so it's going to be less than 45. So this is a case of inverse variation. So here let's write A first, because we are going to find out A, and this is the case of inverse variation. So according to inverse variation, x1, y1, the product will be a constant and it will be equal to x2, y2. So x1, y1 is equal to x2, y2. And x1 is 8 into 45 is equal to x2 is 9 into a. Now we're going to find the value of a. A is equal to 8 into 45 divided by 9. Now here let's cancel 9. 5s are 45 and 8 into 5 is 40. That means A is equal to 40 minutes. And what is A? A is, here we have written A. A is the duration of each period when there are 9 periods. So when there are 9 periods, each period is of 40 minutes duration. So the duration of each period when there are 9 periods is 40 minutes. So this is our answer, 40 minutes. Let's do the same sum in the arrow method. So here we have to make two columns. So first column will be periods, 8 periods. So number of periods is the first column. Then we have 45 minutes. That means time in minutes is the second column. So let's write down. So here's 8 periods, 8 periods. Time in minutes is 45 minutes. And then we have 9 periods. And this we don't know. We'll name it X. We'll call it X. So here we know that the number of periods have increased, but here the time is going to decrease. So this is a case of inverse variation. So the arrow marks will go in opposite direction. So here we have one coming down and then we have one going up. So the arrow marks are in opposite directions. Again, to make your equation, see the number that is closest to the arrowhead, and that is 9 here. So our fraction will be 9 by 8. 9 by 8 is equal to, on this side, what is closest to the arrowhead? It's 45. So we write 45 by x. And then we do cross multiplication. So this is cross multiplication here. So this is going to be 9 into x. So 9 into x is equal to 8 into 45. Now we're going to find the value of x. X is equal to 8 into 45 by 9. Now cancel. 9 fives are 45. Multiply 8 into 5 is 40. That means the value of x is 40. And what is x? Now x is the time in minutes. So let's write our answer. The duration of each period when there are 9 periods is 40 minutes. So this is our answer. Question 4. From the given table, find the value of A and B. So we have A here and B here. We have to find the values of A and B from this table. In that case, first we need to know whether X and Y are a constant, and if they are a constant when we divide them or when we multiply them. So if X by Y is a constant, then we say they are in direct variation. But if we say x into y is a constant, then we say they are in indirect variation. So let's find out whether it's direct or indirect variation. So here x by y, now let's take this first column, 12 by 5. Okay, we can't reduce it further. Now let's take the next column which has both the values. Here we have 10 and 6. I'm not taking this because we have an unknown here, A, isn't it? And I'm not taking this because we have an unknown B. Now here we know both. So let's take that and see. So we have 10 by 6. So 10 by 6 can be reduced to the lowest term. Both are divisible by 2. So this becomes 2 5s are 10 and 2 3s are 6. So now can you see, here we have 12 by 5 and here we have 5 by 3. That means x by y is not a constant. That means they are not in direct variation. Let's see if they are in indirect variation if we multiply. If they are in indirect variation, x, y should be a constant. That means, let me take again this first column here, 12 by 5, 12 and 5. So multiply 12 into 5. 12 into 5 is 60. So the first answer we got is 60. Now let's take the next column which has both the values 10 and 6. Let's multiply 10 into 6. 10 into 6 is also 60. So both our answers here are 60. That means when we multiplied x, y, now x, y is a constant. So when x into y is a constant, they are in inverse variation. So first identify whether it's direct or inverse variation. So now we have understood that x and y are in inverse variation. Because xy is in inverse variation, we say x1 y1 will be equal to x2 y2, which is equal to x3 y3, which is equal to x4 y4. So let's substitute. So this is x1 y1, x2 y2, x3 y3 and x4 y4. So let's substitute for values here. So x1 y1 is 12 into 5. This is equal to x2, which is 4 into a, x3 is 10 into 6, and x4 is 30 into b. So this is equal to 12 fives are 60 is equal to 4 into A is equal to 60, which is equal to 30 into B. So now we can say 4A is equal to 60 and 30B is also equal to 60. So now we can say 4A is equal to 60 and 30B is also equal to 60. So 4A is equal to 60, 30B is also equal to 60. So now let's find the value of A. A is equal to 60 by 4. And we can cancel 4 into 15 is 60. So we have found the value of A. A is equal to 15. Let's go to this part to find the value of B. 30B is equal to 60. So to find the value of B, we say 60 by 30. So here we can cancel 32's are 60. So we have found the value of B. B is equal to 2. So A is equal to 15 and B is equal to 2. And that is option D. 15 and 2. So this is our answer, option D. Question 5. A hostel has provisions for 200 students for 30 days. If 100 new students join the hostel, the same provisions will last for how many days is the question. So when there are 200 students, whatever provisions they have, food, water, whatever they need for the students, it will last for 30 days. But if 100 more students join, then the number becomes 300. So for 300 students, it will not last for 30 days. It will be less than 30, isn't it? So let's write down what is given to us. Let the number of days of provisions for 300 students. Now it's going to be 300 students. Let it be X. So let that be X. So now let's make a table. Number of students, that is when there are 200 students, the provisions lasted for 30 days. Now the number of students have increased. 100 more have increased. So now it is 300 students and we don't know the number of days. So now we know that they are in inverse variation. This is a case of inverse variation because when the number of students was 200, the number of days was 30. But when the number of students increase, the number of days will decrease. So this is a case of inverse variation. Then in that case, we say x1, y1 should be equal to x2, y2. Should be a constant. So x1, y1 is equal to x2, y2. So let's substitute. So x1 is 200 into 30 is equal to 300 into x. So now let's find the value of x. X is equal to 200 into 30 divided by 300. So we have transposed this 300 which was with x. We have taken it away from x and we have transposed it to the other side. Because it's multiplication, when it goes, it becomes division. Now let's cancel. I can cancel these two zeros. Now I can cancel 3 and 30. 3 tens are 30. Now multiply 2 into 10. That is 20. 2 tens are 20. So here x is equal to 20. And what is x? X is the number of days. So can you see when there were 200 students, they could last, the provisions would last for 30 days. Now when there are more students, it will last only for 20 days. So for 300 students, the provision will last for 20 days. So this is our answer and that is option D. Option D, 20 days. So let's do the same sum in the arrow method. So in the arrow method, we make two columns, number of students and number of days. So we have number of students, number of days. Let's fill in. So first we have 200 students, 30 days. 200 students last for 30 days. Then 100 new students join the hostel. So 200 plus 100 makes it 300. And here we don't know. So we're going to write X because we don't know the number of days. And then here what do we see? The number of students has increased. So we draw an arrow mark like this. Whereas the number of days are going to reduce. That means we have to draw the arrow mark in the opposite direction. That means this is inverse variation. Again, see what is close to the arrow head. That will come first to make our equation. So we have 300 by 200 is equal to 30 by x. See what is close to the arrowhead. So now we're going to do cross multiplication here. So what do we see? This now becomes 300 into x is equal to 30 into 200. Now let's find the value of x. X is equal to 30 into 200 by 300. So let's cancel the two zeros. I'm cancelling. Now I can multiply 3 and 30. 3 ones are 3, 3 tens are 30. I've divided and I've cancelled. Now 10 into 2 is 20. So x is equal to 20. And what is x? X is the number of days. That means for 300 new students, the provisions will last for 20 days. So this is our answer. So this is the arrow method to do this. Question 2. Check whether x and y vary inversely or not. So we've been given a table here. We need to check whether the values of x and y vary inversely. Remember, if they vary inversely, that means when you multiply, they should be a constant. So this time we have to multiply x into y. x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3, x4, y4. So let's begin by saying x1 into y1 is equal to 4 into 6. 4 6s are 24. Let's take x2, y2. x2 is 3 and y2 is 8. 3 8s are 24. Let's take x3, y3. x3 is 12, y3 is 2. 12 2s are 24. And x4, y4. x4 is 1 and y4 is 24. 1 into 24 is 24. So here, as you can see, xy is a constant. The answer is always 24. That means x and y vary inversely. We are asked to check that x and y vary inversely is your final answer. So this is the answer to this first part of the question. Second one, let's check whether x and y vary inversely or not. So in the same way, we have to see x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3 and x4, y4 if they are constant. So let's see. So x1, y1, that is equal to 30 into 60. And 6 threes are 18 and then add the two zeros. Let's take x2, y2. x2 is 120 and y2 is 30. So multiply the numbers 12 into 3. 12 threes are 36 and then add the two zeros. As you can see already it's different, but we'll carry on. x3, y3 is equal to 60 into 30. So 6 threes are 18 and add the two zeros. Now let's take x4 and y4, which is 24 into 75, and how much is that? That is 1800. But as you can see, xy is not a constant, isn't it? The answers are different, so you cannot say that they vary inversely. So x and y do not vary inversely. So we can say that x and y do not vary inversely. So this is our answer. Question 2, the third column here, third table that we have here. Here also we need to check and see whether x and y vary inversely or not. So for that also remember x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3 and x4, y4 should be a constant. So let's begin. x1, y1 is 10 into 90. 9 ones are 9, add the two zeros, 900. Let's take x2, y2. That is 30 into 30. 3 threes are 9. Add the two zeros. This is also 900. x3, y3 is 60 into 20. 6 twos are 12 and add the two zeros. It's already different. So let's take x4, y4 and that is 10 into 90. 1 nines are 9 and the two zeros. So here as you can see, it is not a constant because 900 we have and then again 900, but then we have 1200 here. So you cannot say that x and y are a constant. Therefore, they do not vary inversely. So this is the answer. We will stop with this for now, children. In the next video, we will continue with the remaining questions. Thank you.